Hello, and welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LOTRO stream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/LOTRO. Really appreciate you being here. I'm going to be questing, continuing some epic story stuff, heading into Moria a little bit later on in the stream. But first I want to
No,
welcome...
you're not.
Yeah. I'm not hanging to Moria, but I'm making my way there. I hit level 49 last night on my character, so that's really what the status of the things is. How you doing, Druid's Fire?
I'm doing great. Don't ever sing on the stream again, Jerry, please. Don't do it.
I have a great voice. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You should have sung Boss of Me at me. That's what you should have done.
Yeah, we have colds in the office here going around too. It has been a heck of a week at the Standing Stone Games headquarters. We have people that are kind of getting waylaid by flu bugs and cold bugs. We've got a big nor'easter that really knocked out power to a bunch of people's neighborhoods, knocked down trees in people's neighborhoods. Around the SSG offices, it was really fine. You know, maybe 6-7 inches of snow, but nothing that big a deal. But everyone getting to the office was the challenge. Like all the roads that I used to get into the office were pretty much closed all day yesterday because they had power lines down and trees down. We actually didn't even get that much snow in the area, but it was really heavy, wet snow, and that followed a whole bunch of rain. So it really weighed down all the trees and everything, and it was kind of a mass tree decluttering all around the Massachusetts area of kind of older trees that were ready to fall. They all came down. So it was a real mess out there the last couple of days. And that's impacted our ability to do a few things like our weekly restart and a few other things. So that's what's really going on this week. We did launch, however, Update 22. And that's part of the reason I'm not going to be in the game for a little bit. I started the game update about 45 minutes ago. But Update 22 is massive. And I don't want to take it from an internal client because we just have our admin client. And as soon as I start versioning controlling my non-admin game client with my admin game client, then when the non-admin game client gets updated, like for next week's hotfix, then it breaks my client and I have to re-download it from scratch. So that's inside baseball why I'm having to sit here and wait for the game client to update. Why is Update 22 so big? It's really a bunch of things. The Avatar update plays a big role in it. We have new areas, of course, which has a lot of art and sound assets and things like that. So really, just kind of a combination of all that stuff meant just a massive game update this time around. Hopefully we can update the default download to Update 22 here in the relatively near future so that it's a little bit better there. But I'm making progress. You know, I've been downloading for about 45 minutes here. My internet isn't the greatest in this room, but it's not terrible, so hopefully it won't take too much longer. I did not wait until the stream to update. I waited, I figured 45 minutes would be enough, right?
More fool you.
And normally I would have already updated it, but like I said, we had a bunch of storm stuff, so I was streaming DDO from home on Wednesday, and then we had all this backup of work, so I got into the office Thursday and just cruised on a whole bunch of things. Sales and Beacon and Chronicle and all this other kind of stuff. So anyway, whatever. It's how it goes.
But the new areas are pretty, Jerry.
They are pretty. Yep. Here is the thing about Update 22. I could say a few notes about it. The release notes are up if you want to take a look at them. Take a look at the known issues as well. We got a couple of not insignificant known issues, and we are working on a hotfix. Unfortunately, we had to turn off the Update 22 daily quests yesterday due to a bug being found in them that we just couldn't keep them open. It has to do with the way phasing works for NPCs. They weren't phasing correctly, and that meant that people weren't able to progress in the way that they wanted to. So we had to shut off the daily quests, disable them, as it were, and then we're working on a hotfix for potentially Tuesday. Stay tuned in the final downtime. It depends as to what work gets done this weekend and how the build process goes. But a couple of the things we do have that I could talk about, these are our target. This is our target list. So again, that doesn't mean everything's going to make it in, but this is our target list. We're going to fix an issue with refugee corpses in an incident in the camps. We're going to fix some Hobbit models in Chapter 3, High and Low. We're going to remove the TBD descriptions on reputation titles for Northern Mirkwood deeds. We're going to fix an issue where open tapping is not enabled for the Armored Shadows in Karis Tillion. In Erebor, we're going to fix the dwarf phasing issue for the quest Forging Trust. For the quest Stones of Erebor, we're going to make it so you can complete it. For Cleansing Mirkwood, you'll be able to target the corrupted roots. For Discontented Dalefolk, we'll make that completable. Fix a string table error in Forged in Flames. A couple of minor art things. And the one you were actually brought to my attention there, Druid's Fire, where we're going to try to fix an issue in the introduction which requires reputation to reach Galadriel and the Mirkwood Landing to reach Osgalad?
Yep, Osgalath is not reachable unless you've done the Volume 2, Book 9 questline. Open it. It does very interesting things if you come back from the new areas there. It's very cool.
I don't know what this means. But
well,
I have a no, not that one. That one actually makes sense. I think I haven't. The fix is actually going in as we speak. But my understanding is we're basically going to have it so you can click on a rope. There's like some kind of rope there. You're just going to be able to click on it to go in if you're a free player or haven't flagged otherwise for it. The one that doesn't make sense to me is I have one saying World Northern Mirkwood, Aaron Lasgallen - Instadeath Pancakes. I don't know what an insta-death pancake is.
Tasty.
Well, I would think it would be the opposite of tasty, actually. I mean, it kills you just from eating a pancake. What kind of evil pancake is that? Anyway, that's getting fixed. And then we're also going to be dealing some phasing in Forging Trust. Fix an issue where some mithril coins are not increasing some legacies. Fix war steed legs not moving correctly while running and turning. What else do I see? We're going to do a little tweak to the Update 22 Northern Mirkwood map. The featured instance will no longer display as animates mounted if selected. We're going to be doing another pass on the chat filter. That was aimed to cut down on the spam, but having been on Landreval last night, I can see that they've already found ways to work around it, unfortunately. So we're going to have to kind of take another pass on that. And then finally, the other big piece that's going to be in next week's hotfix is an issue where free players, freeps, are getting creep items in their Gorgoroth Steelbound loot boxes. Here's the good news about that. Even though you are getting items in these loot boxes that you can't use, they are dropping in addition to the stuff you would have already received. So thankfully they're not replacing anything that you would have otherwise gotten. It's just additive. However, it's something you can't really use. So we're going to be fixing that. And then we're also going to be fixing an issue where the luxury emote is being barred by the SOS emote. So.
SOS emote,
yeah.
aka the troll emote.
It sounds like a death metal band, Insta-Death Pancakes. I don't know, we need Insta-Death Pancakes. I like this. Why we shouldn't get rid of Insta-Death Pancakes. Will the German translation be addressed in the hotfix? I'm not sure specifically what you want fixed in the German translation, Telerian, but let me know and I can potentially pass that along. Anyway, what I listed is what's currently targeted for the hotfix. So if I didn't say it, then it probably isn't going to make it in time for Tuesday's hotfix. I mean, we are going to do a formal 0.1 update like we usually do, and that'll be coming in the relatively near future as well. But this is something that we wanted to get out basically as soon as we could. So, please unban I Pay Bitcoin. No? but I don't actually know what you got banned for. But we don't take bribes for unbanning you. If you do want to have your ban looked into, go to help.standingstonegames.com. There is a section there for a ban appeal. All right, and you actually had a question here, Druid's Fire, you wanted me to maybe address as well. Something that someone in game brought to your attention.
That is indeed correct.
Go for it.
Let me grab the question here real quick.
Okay.
A player sent me a whisper saying, first of all, they hated to intrude, but, very polite. Thank you. But he's trying to get the right answer to a question that's basically hearsay right now, but no one can give a clear answer. You guys guys and girls, put in a 30-second cooldown timer on trait swapping. Is it bannable to still trait swap before a fight, or as a burglar, use hide in plain sight and trait swap during a fight? He or she has heard that people were getting banned for it, but nobody knows for sure. The specifics were mentioned as a Runekeeper going yellow line before combat to get their CNR skill off, and then swapping red line for fire DPS, starting combat before the CNR 9 seconds out of combat wears off. And the other one they mentioned was minstrels. Where to go? There. Minstrels hitting their ballads, get their ballad buffs up, and then switching over to red line and kicking butt that way. And also burglars, they're actually in the middle of the fight. Hide in plain sight, as you don't know because you don't play burglar, basically drops all threat, and you're basically out of combat. So you can trait swap if you didn't have that 30-second cooldown and, bring something else to the fight, which may change the balance of the fight. So that's what they want to know.
So probably the most overarching question is, are people being banned for trait swapping? And my understanding of the answer to that is no. I have not heard of anyone getting banned for trait swapping. I mean, we did that work to improve game performance. But even prior to the Update 22 fix, I have not heard of anyone getting banned for trait swapping. I mean, that's part of the reason why it became so prevalent, despite really not being a system that was meant to sort of be used on the fly like that. So I think the overall answer is, if anyone's getting banned for trait swapping in a way that is otherwise typical trait swapping behavior, it's news to me. We made the trait swapping cooldown 30 seconds in response to an initial plan to make it a minute on Bull Roarer, because of the kind of public outcry and because people wanted it to be 30 seconds. But in general, we don't prohibit trait swapping. I think we will be doing some work in the future to probably mitigate the issue where people are trait swapping before a fight to be able to get benefits from things in the fight that they probably should not be getting. And that applies to some of the questions that you received. So, in general, we don't want to encourage people to do a lot of trait swapping before combat. That's just not really intended gameplay behavior. The trait system is meant to be more of a kind of longer term benefit program rather than some kind of on the fly benefit system, right? It's not an item. It's not it's something that is meant to sort of not be used in front of every combat or in the middle of combat or between waves of combat and all that kind of thing. So we need to do some work to further prevent that from happening. But at the same time, I have not heard of us actually banning anybody from doing it. So does that answer the question? Is there anything you can think of that I didn't answer there that I should?
No, just basically, are people getting banned or not? And so they just wanted an official answer.
I have not heard of anyone getting banned for it. Now, I mean, that's not just... I can't speak for every GM, for every action that's taken in game. Maybe the GM was issuing a warning or something, someone mouthed off to the GM or insulted them, and then they got a temporary ban for that or something like that. But as far as I'm aware, no one's getting banned for trait swapping. And if they are, then let me know. I can bring it up with CS. But suspect they have more on their plate to deal with than dealing with trait swapping. So, all right.
What percentage are you at now?
I've got about another 800 files to go.
That's not 90%. A percentage?
About 90%, so I'm getting there.
Okay, that's not far.
Is Bull Roarer always closed? Someone asked on YouTube. No, it's open during specific preview time periods. It is not meant to be a server that is always open. It's meant to be a targeted preview server. So, for example, with Update 22 Patch 1, presumably we'll have some kind of Bull Roarer update. And the point is to go to Bull Roarer to preview that specific set of changes and then provide feedback. And then we'll shut down Bull Roarer again until the next preview. Warning, the new area is amazing. Thank you very much, Meredith. I appreciate that. I have heard really positive things about the look and feel of the new area as well. So that's cool. I trait swap on my Berg in the raid. Hey, answer a couple of the pulls that helps to run full yellow, then swap blue for more CC during the fight. Okay. But like I say, I mean, the trait system was not really meant to be something that you change on the fly every couple of minutes. You know what I mean? The fact that players were able to do that is really just due to a design issue with the way that we implemented it. We should never have allowed people to trait swap like that. But the reality is that's what some people are doing. And so it's a gameplay thing we're going to kind of have to look into and do some mitigation on. And specifically, I know that I read some things in the forums where people were saying, we just want players to not be able to do this thing that's powerful. No, it's really not about power. Although there is a little bit of, like you said, kind of near-exploity behavior going on with it. But it really is a matter of game performance, because when you swap out your trait trees, it's very server performance heavy, and having a large number of characters do this frequently is not good at all for game performance. And so that's why we put in that 30-second cooldown on it. Did anyone have trouble with the code for the expansion packs? Yeah, actually. We began looking into this on Wednesday afternoon. Granted, it was in the middle of that snowstorm, but apparently we're working with kind of Digital River on a few people who are getting some weird code redemption issues when trying to redeem codes. I saw that one forum report on it, and that's something we're working through right now. Just get in touch with account support. They'll square you up and make sure that everything is set for you. Cord, I feel like if you're eventually going to do something to prevent trait swapping to happen, I feel people should get a refund for spending mithril coins, because if you can't trait swap, that becomes worthless. So I would agree with you if we used explicit language saying this will help you trait swap. But otherwise, clearly the system was not meant for that kind of super frequent trait swapping. So, sorry. I'm trying to kind of take a look at the chat here. It's moving fairly quick on me. Were there updates to the man character creation options with Update 22? Yeah. We did some work on the elves and men, and then added the dwarves to the avatar update. We did some tweaks to the Update 21 avatars to offer more choice, and really following some community feedback post-Update 21 that they kind of wanted a middle ground between the old look and the new look. And so we were able to put together, I think, something like, 12 to 18 looks that fall between that range there. So yeah, there were some changes made to the human there. I'm just kind of reading some of the feedback here. Could the increase in trait swapping be a consequence of increased trait points? With more points, people could be creating custom trait builds. Yeah, I do think that's probably related for sure. Yep. Perhaps we should just make trait swapping happen only at the bards like it used to be. That would solve the problem, but I don't really see us doing that. I think what we want to do ultimately is find a place where it isn't being too detrimental to game performance, while also letting people do what they want to do with trait trees in a way that doesn't unbalance our content. So hopefully we can find a good middle ground there as we take a look at it. But stopgap here, we needed to add this cooldown in place because it was clearly having a detrimental impact on our servers. Will the new filter system be changed to optional? Currently, some words are banned even if NPCs talk about things. NPCs should never be filtered. Yeah, in general, you're correct. That is... So, as everybody is well aware, we have been having issues with spammers and kind of political garbage in world chat and just general trolling in world chat. And so we had to boostify our chat filter. And that was done in update 21, or update 22 here. And it's one of those things, because there's a lot more to it now than what it used to be. I guess in the past it was really just sort of a banned word list, and that meant you also had to come up with every variation you could think of for, various spam websites and things like that, and then they would just add another space to it, and et cetera, et cetera. Rather than playing a big whack-a-mole like that, it made more sense for us to have a more adaptive chat filtering system. But as Solorian, I believe, mentioned on the forums this week, it's going to involve some kind of manual tweaking over time. So it'll get to be in a really good place, but it is perhaps a little overly restrictive right now. As, people notice with some NPCs kind of, hey, it's not my problem with the NPC swears. No, I'm kidding. But yeah. Yes, is the answer. We will not be removing the chat filter or getting rid of an option to do the chat filter, because we do want particularly that sort of spam, anti-spam, and anti-really poor kind of wording to not be an option. But we're going to have to do some kind of fine-tuning of it over the next point updates here. All right, I am ready to go in game. Yay!
Look at that dwarven background.
I know, isn't it nice? Yeah, the new backgrounds are killer looking, and I really like those UI updates. I was called into our art director's office, I guess it was shortly after the Christmas break, and they were like, hey, check out what this person did, and what do you think? And then we kind of had a little tweaking as to, well, maybe we should do this, that, or the other thing. But I looked at it and I was like, yes. It's so nice to have that new thing there. Oops, I don't want to delete, I want to detach. All right.
My heart cannot sing today.
All right, so it looks like I am up to Book 8, Chapter 2. I need to bring Golodir's equipment to Dervoon at Estelden in the North Downs. Okay. Any chance we can ever get the ability to change the sort order on the character selection screen? Potentially. The intention was to... This was just an art pass. There was no engineering work involved, so it was really an asset swap as opposed to, say, a re-engineering of our login system. And that, you know, is pretty obvious based on what you see here. Things like reordering and that would be engineering work. And our engineers tend to be among the busiest. But, yeah, I do think that we will probably see some further improvements to the character select and UI in general over time here.
What can I do for you?
I have been seeing that you don't use your Coda of Fury as a mini. It triggers me. Nice. Yeah, maybe I should do that, huh? Why do I not use my Coda of Fury, huh?
I don't know why you don't use it. Maybe because you stack might on a minstrel?
No, I don't do that much anymore. Yeah, I've mostly just been using a few buffs when I'm in party, but otherwise I've just been using... Really, I've got Call of the Second Age, Minor Ballad, and Piercing Cry as 1, 2, 3. And then C2, 3, 4 is Perfect Ballad, Healer's Strike, and Headbutt. Just because they're all quick, and so I could cycle them through when I'm kind of blasting away. But Call of Fury, huh? I should probably look into that one. Or Coda of Fury.
And oh my god, you're not using Call of Oromite? Oh my, what's wrong with you?
I'm not what?
You and I need to have a minstrel talk at some point. I'm a terrible minstrel and I play better than this.
Okay. So what does the Coda of Fury do? And why, where do I get it?
Which line are you running? You don't have atomic hands right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, at the moment I'm swapped into Resonance because I was, like I said, I was grouping last night. Typically I'm in Dissonance unless I'm with a party and I want to heal them, in which case I swap over to Resonance.
Well, that's what you should do. That's to be a healer.
Oh, it's the finished skill of all of your ballads. It does a ton of damage. You can one-shot. Okay, well, I'll have to look into that. I've said this before, but I basically just push buttons until things die. So, you know. Any work being done to fix the man-horse animation. When riding, the timing gets up and man is just off. The bouncing doesn't look right. I've heard about that, but I don't know what the status of the fix on that is. Sorry. Will archery animations get an update along with more quivers for hunters? I have not heard
Quivers
of
would be
that.
awesome.
You do what you want is like visible arrows. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, cosmetic quivers, as opposed to a cloak.
Oh, okay. Can I answer the Lasgallan purification token question? If makes anyone who has one alt or only one character not able to make or get new essences if they are a cook or scholar? Sorry, I don't really have the knowledge to be able to answer that question. You should be able to get essences even if you're a cook or a scholar, I would think. So if something's blocking that from happening, then that would be something we'd need to fix. Otherwise, I'm sorry, that comment doesn't make enough sense for me. Not that it's a me issue, but yes. Who am I speaking to? Dear...
Sweet lad Melon, will you stay a moment?
Okay.
Could I speak with you a moment?
Let's see. Do you know if... What's his name? Where's my
What is
book
his name?
quests? Let me remove that from my tracker here and put back in that. Dirvoon, is he in the side door here or is he in the main door?
He's right out here where I am.
Oh. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Where I was.
Yeah.
What do you need?
Golodir's equipment. I will help however I can. Yes, I believe I can repair the damage to his mail shirt, but repairing the shield and the sword is beyond my ability. I think, though, one of the armor smiths and here in Esteline will be able to help. Go and take the sword and shield to Toram, and while you do this, I will set to work on the shirt. Okay. Toram.
Follow me over here.
Someone basically is saying they want like a player side chat filter so that they could kind of help tweak it all themselves and kind of determine what they want to see and don't want to see. I mean, that would be a re-engineering of the system, so it's always theoretically possible, but you know. Any idea as to when Hobbit avatars are getting updated? They are next. And similar to the dwarves and the elves and the humans, they'll be released when they're ready, but they are next, so, you know, potentially, let's say, maybe for the fall update or something like that. But we'll kind of have to see how progress goes and how things go on it. Could be sooner, could be later. Can you answer to my question? What is to your question? Will you make a Battle of Five Armies expansion or a war between Isildur and Elrond versus Sauron? I mean, we have not announced any plans for another expansion or things like that. We tend to announce that kind of thing on a schedule that is not, hey, we can do this on a live stream. I would not announce a major expansion off the cuff on a live stream like that. Sorry. Oh yeah, my Coda of Resonance is now Coda of Fury. Where's my Coda of Resonance? I need to learn all the names of these things. I tend to just sort of think of them as icons more than
Yeah, I'm almost kind of like that. It's like, I know this icon will do this really awesome animation, and this is my big hit, my big kill. So, yeah,
So
but I still need to
my Coda
read
of
the tooltips.
Resonance?
You won't get it because you're in dissonance stance right now.
No, well, they're saying, where did I see that? Check your skill panel now that you're in dissonance. You'll find Coda of Resonance has changed to Coda of Fury. Oh, skill panel. Fury. Oh, there we go. Coda of Fury, a finishing skill that deals enormous damage to the target. Okay, let me put that in my hotbar. I will make an effort to do this. Alright, now I'm going back to Dirvoon. There will never be an official Discord. Probably not. That's come up a few times, both by players and internally, but typically, since we have really active discords among the player community first, it doesn't make sense to take everyone away from their kind of unofficial servers and try to manage moderation on a 24/7 worldwide Discord server that would be officially supported by SSG. It's just, even if we could do it, it's just not probably the best use of our time. So I would say it is highly unlikely we will ever have an official SSG or LOTRO Discord. There's not really a need for it.
Monitor it. You do.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's no... You'd have to have an entire moderation team that was located around the world to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, and most of us who mod the stream don't necessarily have time to do an additional Discord.
Yeah. Are we going to see some balance updates to classes soon? Soon is a bit of a loaded word because it kind of depends as to what you mean by soon, but it is on our agenda in the coming sprints to work on some class balance and class tweaks. So, yeah, I think the answer to that is probably yes.
And then you have to borrow Sapiens' old Soon book to determine which version of Soon. Like, are the O's capitalized? How many O's are capitalized? Yeah, it's just too confusing.
Yeah, see, I mean, I appreciate Sapiens' use of Soon, but it's a tough word because people put their own expectations on it in a way that can be challenging.
Indeed.
Because the answer is things are released when they're ready. Even if we put it on a target as, yes, this is coming in Update 23, well, that's all depending on how the work goes, And things can and do change in a development environment frequently. And people don't like it if you say, yes, this thing is going to be happening, and then it doesn't happen. Or it doesn't happen at the time frame you initially announce. You're right. Someone is saying in chat at this point I should be going to Eregion, or however you say it. Eregion, and start going into Moria. You're right. I also, as of just yesterday, I got a whole bunch of LI items in my inventory, so I'm going to have to start dealing with that kind of stuff.
Oh, I've got a couple of crafted items for you, but you have to level up a little bit more.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping to hit 50 here fairly soon, and then really tackle that stuff. But yes, you are correct. I really should be heading into Moria soon.
Well, sadly, there are 7 more chapters of Book 1 before you get to Moria content, but you can actually start doing it right now.
I tend to like to go in order. I don't know. Maybe
I know, and it's a really good story.
Yeah.
Chris Pearson and Maid of Lions did a great job with that story back in the day.
I don't suppose you happen to know where the Rivendell forges are, do you?
Yes.
Save me from having to wander around a little bit.
Come outside.
Yeah. I like how people are just like, is it in the Hall of Fire?
No, it's not in the Hall of Fire. It's outside.
Oh.
It's forge. You don't want to forge inside. Especially the Hall of Fire is basically where you hang out and tell stories and eat.
Having a Discord for everyone is a terrible idea. Like 50,000 people would join. Yes.
I have so many muted Discords.
Yeah. I've actually personally, this is nothing to do with anything, but I have personally am not actually that big a fan of Discord. I certainly recognize it as a convenient tool for the modern day gamer, but ugh. You hit this critical mass where it's just constantly beeping at you. And even if you try to
That's-
mute it all, it's just it says, oh, now you don't want to be muted, right? Right?
Well, then you're not using it right, Jerry, because I have my Discord on and I have it set up so I'm in streamer mode, so it doesn't beep at me ever.
I do that too, but it keeps on off-toggling streamer mode all the time.
Then you're doing it wrong. You just turn streamer mode on, because it will turn on while you're streaming, yeah. But you can also just manually toggle it on and it will just stay on
Yeah,
permanently.
well, theoretically that's true, except that that's not my experience.
Well, then your experience is weird.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
so are you, but so it works,
Yeah,
you know?
but I also do have something like I seriously, I belong to like 30-some different Discord rooms, and it drives me nuts.
That's a short drive, isn't it?
Yes. It's over by the Atari carts. Bum, bum, bum.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew there was going to be a mention of Atari in the stream somewhere. Oh, by the way, Ponton asked earlier if there were about Hobbit Avatar updates. I don't think you had actually answered that question.
Yeah, that's next.
Well, we know it's next. That's the only one left.
So I mean, they got started on it for update 22, but then they clearly wouldn't be able to release it dwarves and hobbits with update 22 if they kept along their current trajectory. So instead, we sort of pushed out the Avatar update stuff until the dwarf, and then, like I say, the tweak work on elf and human was done. So could be next update. You know, it all depends on how things go in the coming months here. But there was a little bit of work underway, and assuming that after we do maybe any kind of final polish work that we need to do for the update 21 stuff, that'll be their next big project. Thankfully, hobbits are shorter, so it takes less time to color in the... No, I'm kidding. Yeah. All the artists are just shaking their heads.
Yeah, they probably got out their Nerf guns and probably shot several darts at your desk, even though you're not at your desk right now.
Dark days are coming. A strange fate brings you hither.
Okay. Thankfully, I am bound to Gath Forthnear, so I can just click on it and be there.
And if you still have the acorn, you can then summon me there.
Yeah, I think so. If
Well, if you
hobbits
don't
weren't touched in this update, why did I have to fix their look when it came out? That's news to me. I have not heard that any tweaking was done for the hobbits. If that's the case, then I guess maybe some other people should let me know, and I can look into it more.
Playing a hobbit right now, I did not notice any changes to my character.
Yeah,
But that doesn't necessarily mean there isn't anything going on. It didn't happen to me.
yeah. What the reason it would probably have happened is something must have slipped in if it did. But yeah.
Graves,
You have returned, Dwinstrel. What news? The sword has been reforged? Dunakar, it is named. You never really got an answer to your hunter archery question. So you had asked about visible quivers, which I don't know. It's definitely not on our agenda, but that's not to say it won't happen. In terms of what else, let me see if I can scroll up and see what that is.
Yeah, archery animations can be a little bit janky.
Would toggleable weapons be a future cosmetic possibility along with any update to combat animations? Theoretically, either of those things would be possible. I don't know that it's on our agenda, but theoretically.
My time has come. Greetings. Dunakar will bring my vengeance.
Sure, we'll do chapter 5 here.
Heartened by the gift of Dunakar from Elrond of Rivendell,
What can I do for you?
Golodir prepares to assail Cairn Dûm and drive the sword into the unseen heart of Mordorith, the murderous.
Well, what happened
steward
to your
of
health?
Courage may bring hope.
It's to say, I'm on. Your health should have gone up as well. We were getting buffed because this is an instance. It's actually a fellowship quest. This Mordorith is a bad, bad man. He's also very rude.
Yeah. Are the female elf hairstyles 17 to 23 getting updated? They are the same as before. Update 21, no. The intention is to offer both the new and the old there. So my understanding is that those old avatars are going to, hairstyles are going to remain for those that want them. Do you feel like you're going to be okay on healing so I can switch back over into dissonant stance?
Yeah, I guess so. We'll see if I die.
See, I'm using Coda of Fury. I'm helping. Is there even the slightest chance you will ever support transfers between the US and EU servers? The answer to that is no. Not because we want to be cruel or anything like that, but because we have technical and legal obligations preventing us from doing it. Oh, did I get that special item I needed to buy last week? You guys just, you are enablers, man. You guys just enable me to talk about my obsessive hobbies. Why, yes, I did indeed. As a matter of fact, it's going to be coming in the mail tonight, perhaps, or tomorrow. It's a vinyl record on a bunch of like Pac-Man, Galaga music on a really nice vinyl kind of collector's set with all sorts of cool artwork and things like that. I was able to score one of the... There was only 200 copies made, and that was right, by the way. The thing sold out in like a half hour. And I managed to get one of the 200 copies before
You're
it sold
welcome.
out. Yeah, exactly. There's a less limited edition that's available to buy online, but I wanted to get the Pac-Man variant. Because, you know, Pac-Man.
If you got a hope token, now would be a pretty good time to use one.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm even going to be able to have it its first listen debut on a new set of speakers that I'm working on. I was able to find on, it wasn't Craigslist, but it was like Facebook Marketplace. Someone was selling a beat-up old pair of speakers that needed to be restored that were really nice speakers. And so I'm actually putting new surrounds on them. I started doing that last night. And I'll be finishing that up this weekend as well. They're, for those who are audio nerds out there, they're Acoustic Research AR94SIs. Sort of a late 80s, early 90s set of floor standing speakers that are particularly high quality, in my opinion. What does he think he's Yoda or something? Falling in battle before me, you will.
You forgot the Yoda cackle.
Council, if there's any way we can actually get Mordred's outfit in the game, is there?
I don't know, you work for the company. You should ask the art team. Hey, can I have that?
Buddha is saying something about why can't we anymore log alts for loot in 3 to 6 man instances? Is that going to be fixed? My understanding is that's on a content. I heard QA talking about that today. My understanding is that's on a content limited basis. So you can in some cases, but you can't in others. And I believe the answer to update 22 is, or the most recent instant stuff is no. And that was a deliberate decision. You PvPers. No, I appreciate that. But anyway, that loot box thing should be fixed next week with the update.
There was a question as to whether a Freep using some of the creep stuff they got, particularly these stun immunity potions, if that was considered an exploit or not. I think that's something.
Yeah, I don't. That's not my call to make. I would need to check with the content team on that one. It doesn't sound like something you should be using, but you know, whether it's a bug that we should fix by not allowing it to be appearing in loot boxes like this, you know, or an exploit that we're going to take action on. I don't really see us doing that, but I guess it would depend on how serious an issue it was. Otherwise, it's probably more just something we're going to fix by not having that creep stuff show up in free play boxes.
I think the question was more for the folks who already got the creep stuff showing up. Are they going to get yelled at or banned for using it?
I can't speak on behalf of customer service on that sort of thing. You know, it's not my decision to make. My gut reaction is probably not, but like I say, that's not my call to make. I guess it just comes down to, you know, how is it being used, how serious an issue is it, what are they doing with it, that kind of thing.
Oh my god, it's Sarah Oakart.
Yep.
Oh no.
Why? What's wrong with Sir Oakart?
Oh, you sweet summer child. Keep doing the epic, you'll find out.
Okay.
I'm all for doing the epic because it's really good. So as much as I'd like to push you to Moria, you really should do the entire epic. So you need to actually spend more time playing it. So you got it.
Yeah, I think I will be. I mean, we'll see, but I don't know. Some pretty good timing there.
The gift of Dunakar, Avenger of the West,
Loud.
renewed Golodir's spirit, and with the sword he avenged the death of his daughter. But though Morderith was weakened, he was not destroyed, retreating to nurse his hurts and plot revenge. How will this help us in our struggles? Will Sauron maintain control, or will another power claim Angmar?
Groovy. Cord, answer this question. I don't see a question.
I'm not sure what they were talking about either, because, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I don't see it right off the bat. All right. Thank you very much for watching Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LOTROstream, YouTube, and Facebook. If you want to give us a follow on Twitch, you'll be notified for when we go live with shows just like this. We have a Google Calendar that you can get our full schedule at. We also have a splash screen page where you can get a sense of who's all streaming when. And we have got a lot of who's all's streaming when. We have got a lot of shows all week long that you can check out on LOTROstream. We appreciate folks stopping by. If you subscribe to us on YouTube, you'll get these videos in your subscription feed. And if you follow us on Facebook, you'll get Facebook Live videos in addition to the other kinds of sales and other promotional information that we put over on Facebook. All right, this is a VIP event boost weekend, so that goes through Sunday, being shut off early morning hours Eastern Time on Monday. And then finally, as I say, stay tuned for a downtime announcement about a hotfix going in next week. And we'll have the release notes ready for that as well. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you have fun playing LOTRO, and I will talk to you again soon.